1, 2, 3. Oh my God. This thing hears everything. Okay, here we are. Live and in color. With my super duper Shure microphone here that if you sneeze, it may blow up your iPhone. I'm going to put my Apple Watch on this little charger. Okay, so this morning at 8 o'clock is the beginning of the pre-orders that can be made for the Apple Watch Series 7. So in order to keep up with everything high technology, I have placed an order in 2 different places. Oddly enough, Adorama, A-D-A-R-O-N-A, Adorama, is Camerama. I mean, it is a force to contend with. B&H Photo, let me turn the music down a little bit. B&H Photo had, a lock on all the stuff that could be bought online. Excellent shipping. It's in Brooklyn. Everything's Brooklyn. My first 11 years, I was raised in Brooklyn, of course. Not too far from where Jay Leno grew up, or Donald Trump, for that matter. There's all a bunch of, townhouses, row houses. Anyway, my address was 321 189th Street in Brooklyn. 321 189th Street. How do I remember 321? Not because I remember seeing it on the front of the building, but my father had a briefcase, and it had a 3-thing combination, and he put 321 as the opening his secret briefcase. Had all his confidential papers, which he didn't want JimmY fingering through. I was a curious little sucker, Anyway, so 321, I learned years later that 321 was the combination lock on my father's secret leather briefcase. I don't believe he had a gun in it, or a knife, or anything terrible like that. Anyway, so Adorama is in, in the 5 boroughs of New York, and they sell a lot of stuff. I've bought a lot of stuff from them. I bought 2 Canon EOS R1 cameras, 30 million pixel, 8 frames per second. It's not a sports thing. You can buy the R5 and it shoots 20 frames a second with 45 million pixels. Lots of pixels. I had that for a brief period of time, sent it back. I hung up my badge, my gun and my badge for FAU photography on field football. I just, at my age, I just couldn't, place myself on field when it says the feels like temperature is 103. Now, why is JimmY standing and walking around on that football field with 103 fever? It was really crazy. So, I think we did 1 game this year. God, excuse me. Those nature things, you just gotta let it go. Oof. That blew the VU meter off the edge of the thing. I should have pulled the trigger down. Anyway, so I'm not doing FAU sports anymore. I'll probably get some guest passes and we'll go down there and take a few shots, a little later in the season. Or for, bowl games, that kind of thing. It's not like we're never going to do it. I just don't want to be committed because they depend on us. You know, every time a senior official, either a public official in Boca Raton, a state official, a county official, receives a degree, proclamation, signed football, you know, what they call them, grin and grab shots. So they stick their hand out, they shake the hand of whoever, the crowd goes crazy, it's on the Jumbotron, and Jimmy and Marilyn are snapping shots because, you know, they want to use them and frame it and use the image, you know, with their online discussions when they write, FAU writes their sports activities other than football. So we're not doing it anymore. They'll have to rely on someone else doing that, which is fine. It's just there's so much that we can do. And I don't feel like standing on feels like 100-degree heat football field for, 4 hours. And then you get, you can go upstairs on the second floor and, sit down and have a Coke and a thing of popcorn. Ooh, I love popcorn right now. And, that's the story. So I sent her a nice text and said, you know what, goodbye. I can't do this. Thank you very much. And she said, oh, thank you very much. We all said thank you very much. And that's it. That's the end of JimmY. It's that quick. And there's 10 people behind me looking to take my spot. So the hardest problem she had is who's going to do what JimmY used to do? JimmY and Marilyn, that is. Marilyn took better shots than I did. 9 times out of 10. When I go through all the photos, I take 300, she takes 300, plus or minus. Add them together, it's 600-700 pictures. I go through them, I look at every one of them, and I bring to the front. I sort them by time and date. And Marilyn's camera, the clock on the camera is synced to the exact second that my camera is synced to. And the Apple Watch has is right on. They have their own satellite system that updates these devices. It's amazing. They would bother, but they have it right down to the National Bureau of Standards. So when the Apple Watch says 11:56, they ain't kidding. And they have a second hand somewhere. You can see that on their clocks. And all these, oops, I don't want to go there. I want clocks. So you can see there the second hand moving around. Now, if I had 5 of those, all the second hands would be rotating at exactly the same angle as that one is. So it's 11:57 and 26, 27, 28, 29, 30 seconds. That's it. So you got 2.5 minutes, and it's going to be noon. Okay, so one thing I wanted to tell everybody, if I can open the page here, and I'm going to go to, I'm going to go to my messages. I'm going to click 9. There you go, so you can see. I'm going to go there. I wanted to show you tunnel for towers. There, no, that's. All right. All right, I just wanted to, God darn it. You don't mind them looking around. All right, I guess, so much of that. Let's go to that one right there. Fast press. So, these things are always asking me to do stuff. All right, T2T dot O-R-G. There it is. There it comes. Let me make it full screen. Something is asking me. There we go. There we go. Yeah, everything's a struggle today. Okay, so see tunnels or towers. Home. Let's hit home. We're not already at home. There we go. Watch the stories. You've seen all the stories. I mean, they've been advertising for, 15 years, 20 years. But just so you know, see, 50 mortgage-free homes were donated, like, yesterday. So here's Tunnels to Towers. Reads the names of each of the 7,000 victims. Okay, I don't want to watch these specials. Donate now. Let's hit that button. Donate now. Anyway, I started this yesterday. And instead of doing $11, I went over there and put in 20. Because 11 is the lowest one they hope for. And you can check monthly. And, employer information. Maybe sometimes employers will match funds. I did none of that. I did monthly, $20. And you go down there and you fill out your credit card information. There it is, and leave a comment, and you want to recognize anybody. So, T, the number 2, another T.org, and you're right here. Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Okay, it's a highly successful fundraising effort. I've been watching these commercials, and I said, I want to do this. It's $20. It's you won't even notice it, in your cash flow. And so I figured, you know what, I'm going to do it. So I signed up. I told Marlon about it last night, and I said, I hope I have your permission to obligate ourselves to $20 in our SunTrust account, $20 a month, forever. You can stop it, but we're just going to let it go, until, we both drop dead and the kids decide if they want to keep it going. Anyway, so in a very polite way, I ask you all to consider doing the same. You're really going to miss $20? Just do it. And, every time that commercial comes on, you can say, I got something to do with this. And instead of just listening to it and walking away like a half-dead sheep, These people are in desperate need of help. Their husband just had a leg blown off. Husband didn't come home. A husband got stuck in a fire and didn't come out. These are first responders, these are police, these are military. Red, white, and blue. And this foundation helps everybody. They keep track of, what's happened. If they put the ones that died in the front of the list, and they work their way down the list. And I remember one of these guys holding up the list. Lots of names, 45 names per page. It's 8 or 10 pages. He's about 6 pages back. So he's like number 300 on the list. There's 299 other people who got to get their freebies, their mortgage paid off before he gets his. And they got an organization. They raise money and they'll take care of them. But sometimes they gotta wait a while. Could be a couple of years. So something to look forward to anyway. Trump was very high on this, because it started in New York City. Because you had 9/11. It knocked down 2 huge buildings. Each floor was 45,000 square feet. That's an acre. Okay, an acre. That's 208 by 208. Is a square. You multiply 208 times 208, you get 43,560. You get 43,000. 43,560. That's a lot of square feet. You multiply that by 100 stories, 2 buildings. The problem with it is when you, who would figure this? When you fly a plane into it, like a big 767 or something, wide body, 30,000 gallons of jet fuel, 15,000 in each wing. So they fly in and they can create quite a mess. So T2T.org. That organization started because someone's brother, the founder of this organization, his brother got killed. Buildings collapsed. He runs in there trying to help. Boom. Buildings collapse. He's like squished. It was fast. So what happens? How come that happens? How come it happens? It happens because the these guys even they tilted the wings so that the wings would be at an angle when it hit the building, so that the jet fuel would affect like 10 floors instead of just 2. If it landed level, it'd affect 3 floors, and then the floors above, because the jet fuel would be on fire, and But if you tilt the wings, these guys were super careful about how they committed suicide. like the Japanese. I was always afraid, in the wartime of the kamikazes, that would fly their airplanes right into, things. And it's like a bomb. So that's what happened in World War II. Well, these guys picked up on that and said, hey, let's see if we can commandeer an airplane and, train for it and learn a little bit how to fly it. We don't need lessons on how to land it because we don't intend to land. We're taking this plane into a building, and we're going into heaven rather than down on the runway. So they didn't even train on how to land the plane because we didn't need training on how to land the plane. We need training on how to take off the plane, and we need training on how to fly the plane, and we need training on how to beat these guys up in the cockpit to get control of the aircraft, and then change the directions and to fly it into a building. And each one pulled out a different packet of paper, folded up, and it showed a picture of the building they're supposed to be hitting. It shows coordinates, and it gives them some help on how to, navigate the plane when you're 30,000 feet up, and you don't necessarily see highways and things when you're that high. So they navigated, they knew where they were going, they did the navigation properly, and they made this big turn and came right around and ran right down 6th Avenue, at 300 feet above 6th Avenue. Can you imagine the noise that made? With those engines, and they had the engines screaming. I mean, they said it was going like 630 miles an hour. It can't go any faster than that. So they had this thing on full throttle as they descended and came down upon that building. And just, bam, just flew right in there. Oof. A big explosion of jet fuel number 2. And of course, some of the jet fuel didn't burn, so it like dripped down a couple of floors, and it was, burning, creating a lot of smoke. And unfortunately, it heated. So for the floor that had the most damage, they actually know exactly what floor, where the cockpit went right through, and then came out the other side of the building. And of course, people didn't notice because they were watching the big plane. But if you watch frame by frame, you can see pieces of the cockpit tumbling down, 100, 200 feet down to the roof of adjacent buildings. Amazing. So that's the background for donating to Tunnel to Towers Foundation. So if you could do that and have your friends do that, just think of all the extra money that these guys would get just because we woke up and decided to recognize Tunnel to Towers. I saw those clips, when that happened. I was, really engaged in crime scene investigation, using digital cameras to collect evidence. And I had Henry Lee agreed to co-author the book. So he's a celebrity and I'm the schmuck. So I write the book, he edits it, adds a couple of chapters, we put his name on the cover, like my name is on the cover, and I wrote 95% of the book, so we co-authored it. Who knows, it's 95-5 as far as the work effort. I want him as a co-author because it puts me up on the marquee with him. Who's JimmY? Well, now they finally figure out something about JimmY. They already know Henry Lee. And must be something good about JimmY if Henry Lee is co-authoring with him. So that's how I looked at it. I don't care if I did 100% of the book. I gave him some chapters and he edited it. And I've seen him since. So, I mean, a lot of years went by, and I just, I wasn't writing. I could go back and get into that. And basically, what this would be a crime scene. This would be a digital imaging handbook for recording crime scenes, particularly tailored to the digital world and the chain of custody of the digital images. It's a whole different story with electronic images as it is with film. You develop the film, you lock up the film, you give it a serial number, then you print it and put all the 8x10s with the film in a special envelope, put it in a file that has a digital marquee on it so that, when you want to look up this crime scene, the computer can find it. So you put a lot of keywords in there so this piece of evidence doesn't get lost. I mean, that's part of a couple of chapters in the book. What good is having, I was dealing with the head of the LA police department. Okay, this is the head guy. How about that? My daughter introduced me to the guy who's the head of the LA police department. They got hundreds of sworn officers that are running around taking pictures. I think at that time they had 75 people that just did digital photography. This doesn't have anything to do with the number of sworn officers. These are officers that do nothing but collect evidence and manage the files, all these images. And the guy was telling me that they've, every week they fill up a file cabinet with all these prints. I mean, a file cabinet a week. So, in a year, it's 52 goddamn file cabinets. I mean, he said it's getting crazy. We gotta do digital because I don't have room for all these file cabinets. And you gotta put them in someplace so that we can find these images 3 years later when it finally gets to court. And that's what he told me. He says, it takes 2.5, 3 years before the thing goes to trial. With a lot of delay, whatever. So I need to be able to find them 3 years from now. And 3 years from now means, 150 file cabinets if we keep going the way we're going. So I gave them some advice and I did. I was short of, they wanted me to go there for a week and train their guys for a week. Train them on how to use the cameras, train them on how to, download the files and, so they understand what's going on and how to look at the files so that they are sure that the pictures that they took captured the crime scene the way they wanted it captured. And digital is not the same as film. It has different exposure values, different values for like shade, like under a desk where it's a little dark. And let's say you're using flash, so the flash fills the room with light. You capture the whole room. But guess what? Under every desk, it's dark. I mean, really dark. So, because 15 years ago, the digital imagers, this wafer that sits in place of the film, and light flashes onto that wafer, and then that wafer creates magically a JPEG file with some processing on chip. There's enough processing capacity embedded in the chip so that the output of the chip is JPEG pictures, one by one. They come out, 5 per second and get written on the data card that's in the camera. So 8 per second, 5 per second, it's pretty rapid processing of the digital image. and then it goes onto an SD card, and that's what I was teaching. But I didn't accept the invitation to go to LA for a week. You know, there's something about, you know, after the week is up, and after you do this and fill this out, and then we, you know, and you get reimbursed 3 months later. You know, well, I didn't have 10 days worth of hotels, food, cocktails, you know, breakfast, lunch, dinner. I didn't have a debit card that could hold that much value, you know. So I said, I understand your procedures, and this is probably going to cost, you know, aside from whatever kind of fee I charge, which I'll be nice about that. Yeah, it's $20,000 or $30,000. He said, "Oh yeah, yeah." He said, that was okay. He understood that. Okay, well, so I couldn't do it. Let me get rid of the Zoom. I don't know what the Zoom is all about. And this is a miniature of whatever this is. I don't want that either. There we go. Okay, so we're still live. 32 minutes and 49 seconds. All right, so I guess I'm done with Tunnel for Towers. I hope some of you people do something about it. It's a worthy investment, $20 a month. You can do 11. You know, you can do 15. You can pick any number you want. I just did 20. I figured, you know what? They want 11, I'll give them 20. That's what I did. And Marilyn went along with it. And it's the first real, you know, charity thing that I got involved with. Can you imagine? 50 years of people beating on my door, and the only thing I do is $20 a month with Tunnels for Towers. Cheap bastard. Not really. I mean, you know what I'm saying. You can't have your bucket open every time someone asks for something. It's just, you know, it's impossible. I'm looking to see how the stock market's doing because it's Friday. Let's see, I'm going to do Face ID again, yeah. Bingo, there it is. It's like magic, isn't it? Let's see if I do 1, 2, 3. There we go. That's better. It inverts the screen. I banged down the microphone, sorry. So now I've turned my head and I'm looking at the screen. Let me move this a little bit out of the way because it's very loud. All right, so the market is at 34.7 and it's down 8, which is like nothing. It's, you know, down 0.02%. So it's a meaningless number. And the other indices are about the same. Apple is, 142, down 0.2%. That's meaningless. Amazon, 3,300. I remember when that stock was 4. Can you imagine? Why don't I buy 1,000 shares of that? Can you imagine multiplying 1,000 times 3,300? That's a lot of millions. But I didn't have the cojones to do it. Microsoft. I don't know, it was an oddball situation. I looked at Amazon and I figured, you know, is this really going to work? I mean, Amazon's like miraculous. I go there first for almost anything that I want. You know, cat food, you know, picture frames, whatever the hell it is. You can grocery shop. Yeah. Amazing. Gold is flat. I'm trying to get Marilyn to go along with me on gold. And I don't mean to, but you know, how about $40,000 in gold? Just buy, let's do the math. The gold coins are about 2,000 a piece. Gold is like, you know, 19,100. I have to look at it. I don't know what it is today, but anyway, spot gold. So here's my calculator. So if we have 35,000, just pluck in a number and divide that by 2,000, the price of each gold coin. That's it's 18 coins. Can you imagine? 18 coins. So you buy 20 coins, that's $40,000. And you just put them up in your vault, you know? You don't need to put them in a vault in a, you know, what do you call it? You know, in a bank, have a bank safety deposit, you know. I mean, that's where you'd put something if, you know, documents and things. So if there was some kind of a fire or whatever, you know, everything isn't stuck in wherever your office is or your residence. You know, there's a fire in this building, and it's fully sprinklered. You know, so I don't know how a fire could spread very far, but, you know, you never know. But 20 coins, you know, and each coin is an ounce. So 20 ounces is, you know, a pound and a half, you know, in a pouch. It's not that heavy either. I mean, it's not light, but 20 coins is something you can throw in your pocket and get out of the building. You know, there's a few things I'd grab. You know, I have a lot of technology shit which would, you know, be terrible to lose, but I got a couple of iPads I grab and MacBook. Some things you can't take. But you try to get to, you know, the high price shit. I got 2 valuable cameras. I got to grab those. They're, you know, shoulder strap. Just put them over your shoulder. Yes, I wear these gloves almost all the time. When I'm washing dishes, I take them off. But they fit perfectly. And I bought them slightly small. Because I wanted a snug fit because, you know, you keep doing this and the gloves eventually stretch a bit. You know, they're wonderful for driving. But, you know, my hands get cold. You know, it's a circulation thing. You know, my circulation is, you know, my blood pressure's okay, I think. I'll have to take a try at the blood pressure. I know the blood oxygen level is good. You know, this watch keeps track of your heart rate and the blood oxygen. It doesn't have a method to do blood pressure yet, but they have a method of doing it where they measure how fast. Yeah, I mean, it's like crazy shit. But so they have essentially an electronic picture of your underneath your skin and your arteries, and it says, okay, heartbeat, and then it's it's like a ricochet. So this pulse comes from the heart, and they see how fast or slow is the ricochet to the point where the action of pumping of the blood ceases. So it's like a moment of rest. Then whoosh, there's another push of blood. And it measures the distance and the time from when the and they do a conversion from that based on your biometrics, and they can tell you your blood pressure. And nothing pumps up, nothing, that's up, and this thing goes up. And a girl listens to your blood vein, and then the blood vein opens up. I mean, God. I have a cuff that is in the living room, which, you basically put it on the arm. Now, it has an air pump, and it does pump. But everything, it has sensors that listen the inside of your arm. So you push this button, and it does everything automatically. And then you look down on the side of the cuff, and there's your blood pressure. Crazy. It's all automated. Then it throws it automatically, dumps it into your health app, that's connected with your Apple Watch and your iPhone, which is always listening for that kind of information. Amazing. So the Apple Watch is quite a, they give you about $250 for your old Apple Watch, the 6 if you're going for the 7. And so a new one costs, with taxes, and it's $850. So you take $250 away, that's $800, $700, $600. So it's like a $600 device on your wrist. But at my age, you got to have this stuff. And when there's a problem, the watch alarms. I mean, it tells you, hey, Jimmy, there's something wrong. You need to go take a look. And I do. And Marilyn's sister has one of these watches. And, it goes off. The alarm goes off because her pulse goes up to 130. I said, well, what are you doing when it's at 130? I'm sitting on the couch. I said, nah, that's the problem. That's something not right. So why would it beat that much when you're at rest? It's because you got blockages. I'm making this up. I'm not a doctor. And it needs to pulse that fast in order to get the blood circulating around. So the only thing you can do is beat a little faster to try to push the blood around, because you have blockages. So that's one of the reasons why the pulse goes up, even though you're not exercising. So your heart is trying to do everything it can to oxygenate all your cells. So it does what it has to do, So, I had a heart issue on May 29th. That's when I, went to the hospital. I said, Marilyn, we got to go. I've never been to the hospital, okay? Other than taking people or picking people up, I have never wheeled myself in one of those places and then, got a bed and all that shit. Never happened, except on May 29th, 3 years ago. I just drove myself right into, or Marilyn drove us right into the front door of the hospital. And I had what I'd call a mini heart attack. So I laid down. There's an enzyme when the heart muscle gets, overflexed, with a heart attack where there's a, the heart is not, beating right. and there could be some, cramping of the heart muscle. Like you've had a cramp in your calf. Well, you don't want this kind of cramp in your heart, because a cramp in your calf, boy, it hurts like hell. Jesus, oh, I've had a couple. And it's, oh my God, it's so painful. And you try to move your leg around, and after about 4 or 5 minutes, the muscle relaxes, and then the cramp is gone. And that's what happens with a heart attack. The heart muscle does not get oxygenated properly, and it cramps up. And the question is, how much cramping and how much damage to the heart muscle because the heart, cramped. So it is, it's a cramping, and it has to do with oxygenation. Minerals, lack of potassium, all kinds of things that can cause the heart to cramp up, which is a heart attack in common vernacular. So that's what happened to me. So, I wasn't holding my chest and fell over, but I was, I was looking at my watch and I was saying, holy shit, ooh, the blood pressure is 200 over 100. I figured, oh my God. Now, it's the lower number. That's the killer. It's the 100. It's not the 200. Because the 100 is the measure of your pressure when the heart is not beating. Okay, that's like between beats. The 200 number is taking into account, the squeezing of the muscle. And, that can be anywhere from 140, 180 to 200. 200 is a big number. 180 is a big number, but it's not a killer. 130, 125, 130, 135, over 70, 78. But when it's at 100, that's like 50% higher than that systolic number should be. And so what's the so what? Well, the so what is, that's the pressure of all your capillaries, the pressure that's between pulses. And the biggest problem is sensitive organs. How about like your head? And if a blood vessel pops, now you got a stroke. So is it a big stroke or a little stroke? Will it clot up by itself, or does it keep bleeding? So you don't want to have an issue like that for any longer than it goddamn has to be, because you end up with you may be dead because of the stroke, not because of the heart attack. So depending on what veins explode in your head. So, man, that number gets anywhere near 100, you need to be somewhere near a hospital, because it could be the end of you. So, anyway, I've preached enough about that. And I have this blood pressure thing. Let's see, what time is it? 49:50. So I'm going to take my headphones off, and I'm going to go run into the other room and get this blood pressure thing. And let's do it on live TV. Hold on a minute. Okay. All right. All right, I'm back. I turned the microphone down so you wouldn't hear me banging around in the living room. All right. This microphone picks up everything. So, this is a broadcast quality microphone. Got instructions in there. Yeah. See there, you gotta do that right there. There you go. You put your arm in there. It's a good little picture. Let me give you the expando view. Oh, there it is. That's what I was trying to do, get the main camera going. Let me take these off temporarily. I'm telling you, I do wear these almost always. Let's see if I can pull this shirt up all the way. Yeah, I can do that. That makes it better. Slide this thing in. See, it's got a... That help? Yeah. So it gives you directions. Put that, oh yeah, put that red. So they're telling you to put the red right there. Okay. Oops, where's my eyes? My glasses down somewhere. I feel like I'm Mr. Magoo here. All right. Okay. Push that blue button for a while, see what happens. There we go. Ooh, look at all this. The display. Let me turn this down a little bit more. There we go. Hear it? Okay. So it says 146 over 67. So that 67 is a good number. So take this off and show you. See, 146 over 67. It's got the time and the date. This is unbelievable. You can plug in a 6-volt thingy in there. So that's it. Went off. I'm gonna do it again. You put that red thing aim right at the crotch of your arm. Don't do that. There it goes. Here. 'Okay, this is 149/74. Live and in color. Oh boy, this is fun. Let's get this out of the way a little bit. All right, so now we can, I don't know, reset. It's like turning it off. Yep, that's it. Whoops, sorry. Just bam. Zip this bugger up. No hoses. It's all in one thing. Brand name on it. This is Omron. Looking to see what the model is. Tell you what, they got this print so god darn small. Isn't it funny? It's not really clear who the hell made it. Oh, when in doubt, look at the papers. What does it say? All-in-one blood pressure monitor. greatergoods.com/0636. So that's it. That's the model number, 0636. Balance Health app. You get that app, and that communicates with this doodad, and the blood pressure goes right to it. I'm going to leave that open because I'm going to do that with my phone. What's the name of the app? App Store. Balance Health app. There it is. And see the goofy little picture? Goofy little guy in blue. And there it is. It wasn't so bright. This is the same color blue. And I took it off the phone because I probably didn't know what the hell it was. Open it. Okay. Sign up. Next. Birthday. Click that wheel. I wonder how low it goes. All right. There we go. Done. Zip code. Mail. Next. Password. Since I already have an account. All right. Bingo. All right, so the last time I did this, it was 129/77 with a pulse of 74. That's pretty good. Just one entry, so when I turn this back on, it's going to have another entry. And then that app communicates with everything else health-wise that you got on your phone. Anyway, here are those sound effects. The baby is now tucked away. And I can pull my sleeve down. There you are. Okay, so Tunnels for Towers. T2T.org, O-R-G. And then you're there. And you can donate whatever the heck you want. I gave 20. I figured, what the heck. 11 is their suggested low number. But you can donate whatever the hell you want. So I picked 20. So 20 a month. That's $240 a year. We can live without it. But these other families need it. So we get a whole bunch of us, then we'll do some good. You know, so I'm going to keep telling everybody. I put it up on my Facebook thing so they can see it. You've heard it here. And with that, I think we're going to Say 99.